Welcome to the Youth Voice in Action series of podcasts. We are the CMET Youth Panel and this is the CMET Takeover. Before we start, we would like to acknowledge the sensitive topics we're about to discuss. The content covers knife crime, gang culture, exploitation and harm. Podcasts have been created in a safe space for young people to facilitate freedom of expression on their real-life experiences. Support staff have been available to assist before, during and after the making of the podcast. If there is anything in the content of the recordings that has affected you, please reach out for support. For more information on the services that support young people, please click the link in our podcast description.
Hello, my name is Josh and welcome to our podcast. Today I am here with
Abigail, Saraya,
And Osha.
Right. Today I've got a couple of questions to you based on knife crime. One of the questions is, how bad do you think knife crime is in this area at the moment?
Knife crime in this area is definitely skyrocketing over the past year or over the past 3 years, definitely due to certain circumstances such as COVID-19, as everyone's been locked in their houses and have had nothing to do.
Why would you think that would emphasise a skyrocket in knife crime?
As people have been in their houses more, they've been online more, and that's caused more online problems.
I reckon it's like due to like mental health issues as well.
So maybe you could, so you're on over there, maybe people could have been arguing online while they've been stuck in their houses.
Yeah.
And then going out having problems with other people in gangs or whatever, and then people end up getting hurt with a knife.
A gang of youths, innit?
There's also a lot to do with drugs around Swansea. Big people with the drug
Protecting their
gangs.
supply, like.
Yeah, but they also hire young people to do their work, and then when the young people try to run away from that, that's when the danger kicks in with knife crime.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Was I think it's gone, it's raised higher because of mental health as well, if you get what I mean, because of.
So could you say why that is then, or?
Well, but then what Abigail's on about, between with what's going on with COVID and stuff, everything's affected. Everything has gone more higher in risk, if you get what I mean. It's increased. It's increased.
People could have lost family members, which is going to make them, a bit in the head,
There's a lot with ADHD and bipolar and that aren't not to say anything, but there's a lot to do with late diagnosis. People tend to struggle with their minds, and that's what turns into bad actions.
Yeah, and that's why I think mental health has increased.
Yeah.
Since COVID.
Because people don't have an understanding of other people as well, really, do they?
And not even that. I think there's not enough resources, help available for people with mental health problems. But that can be due to knife crime as well. Because
would you say that's more in younger children or people who are over the age of 17 to 18?
Younger, for sure.
I think it's younger as well. I think it's definitely increased within young people from the age of 12 to 16.
Same, yeah.
But then also I think it's increased as well from the age of 17 to 24.
I know a younger boy around the age of 16, and he carries around a knife, and it's obviously a big thing, but he does it mainly for self-defense from people, not understanding mental health issues or going for fights and stuff. He just genuinely doesn't feel safe. And I think that's a big concern, is that young people just don't feel safe.
Yeah, that definitely contributes to it a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
People not feeling safe in their own area, so they feel like they have to carry. I
also think it's due to peer pressure as well.
Yeah,
due to their mates and stuff. Their mates could be
the wrong crowd.
Yeah, hang around the wrong crowd, get into bad crowds and stuff. Their mates could be
and they can't leave that then.
Exactly, their mates might be carrying a knife, but then again they're well,
go on, take it for me, take
exactly,
it for me.
Do I have to carry a knife because they're carrying one as well?
Or maybe it's the fact of maybe they're getting in trouble for holding a knife, and they're quickly take this, run.
Yeah, and then
you end up getting caught with it, and that just ruins your life,
when it's not actually your fault
when
either.
you're not actually carrying
yeah, and then you
with
do the
intent,
time
like,
then for something that's
not your fault.
realistically, it's not your fault.
Yeah.
I think as well, though, what it is if you're like trying to fit into a group, you know, if they're doing something and you're not doing it, they're gonna like start saying stuff. They're gonna start doing stuff.
So it's peer pressure, innit?
Yeah.
People are gonna be going like, you're acting like a little girl about it. Like, why you doing that? Like, just do it with us, innit? Like, it's the same with a lot of drugs in the area, I'm guessing as well, really, isn't it? Like, people are around you doing loads of drugs, and they're like, oh, go on, have some.
And that's like revolved around knife crime and stuff as well, isn't it? I reckon.
Yeah.
A lot of drugs and stuff is due to I think is revolved with a lot of knife crime as well.
Yeah. Right, so another question I wanted to ask you today is what do you think the main reasons are people get stabbed around the Swansea area then?
Arguments, definitely a big thing. It depends, obviously, the circumstance of the argument or what's took place. And a lot of if you've got drama with someone, you don't know the bigger crowd they have behind them, and that's a big danger for young girls.
It's who you know, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
I also... sorry, go on.
No, it's fine.
I also think it's due to, also the circumstances of, people hanging around with the wrong crowd as well.
Of course.
So,
big thing in Swansea for that, isn't there?
Yeah, it's just...
Yeah.
It's impacted a lot anyway throughout the last couple of years with young people itself anyway.
Yeah. Well, I know for sure it definitely impacted Abigail because there was a situation with one of her mates had a new boyfriend, and he came down and ended up threatening one of my mates with a knife, and she got impacted by that quite hard because she then couldn't speak to that girl, obviously, because she was getting questioned and all that.
It is big, in things, but I don't know.
I think also, also between, the stabbing in Gosainon as well down bus stop, that impacted a lot of, people's,
That was one of the most serious stabbings, though.
Yeah.
Age.
Yeah, that
it was plastered everywhere. It was literally everywhere.
That involved a lot of people as well, didn't it? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it was gangs and stuff, wasn't it?
It was a big gang.
It wasn't it was his fault that he was arguing. He was just the state of that he was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah,
it wasn't him that was arguing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He got wrongfully stabbed as well, didn't he?
I think quite often. That's quite often you get wrongfully stabbed. People can mistake you for someone else.
Which is
that's just gonna not only ruin your lives but your family's lives and everything. Then
that person got very lucky. He could have been seriously injured.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's lucky he didn't pass.
Exactly. Thank God, he's alive. Really, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Big scary thing to be put through though, being stabbed.
Yeah. Was he 14, 15 years old and he got stabbed?
Yeah, I think,
Yeah, 15 years old getting stabbed.
I think it was 14.
14.
14.
I think it's just mad how it's two young people, most frequently from 13 and upwards. It's just mental to think that groups of, girls or boys, it's around both really, but the fact that they feel the need to be going around waving knife around to seem really cool.
Wow, I'm cool, yeah.
It's not cool at the end of the day.
It's not
cool. I think they try and act like they're all, I'm cool for carrying a knife, I'm cool for doing this and that, but you're actually not, because you're making the situation even worse for yourself.
Yeah, and then you're also just getting people looking at you then as well and just thinking, what is he doing with his life?
Exactly.
Or he or she, innit?
Yeah.
But I definitely think one of the main reasons of people getting stabbed is probably stuff to do with drugs as well, because there's a lot of young kids these days getting into, dealing. Might only be a little bit of weed, but there's a lot of people dealing weed these days, and then
but that can have big consequences.
And then also thinking, the money's might not be enough on that, and then going on to, more harder drugs like Class A's, and then they end up doing the drugs they're selling, and then getting themselves in a lot of debt.
I can say with Swansea though, they get a lot of young dealers selling a lot more heavy stuff because there are
like
the
Class
ports.
A's, like.
Yeah.
Like they come in from the port and they get cocaine, stuff like that, purely as it is to sell. And say if something went wrong with a customer and a customer passed away or whatever, gangs of people are going to come after them who dealt it, probably with a knife.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's a lot of drugs to do, there's a lot, there's a lot of drug misuse and stuff to do with young people, and obviously I think it's impacted a lot.
Then that also does contribute into getting stabbed, then, doesn't it? Really, because
if you're doing, say now for example, you're set up to do this deal, and then you, for example, I don't know,
something goes wrong,
you
get caught,
and then you get
whatever,
caught and you get stabbed.
Yeah.
It's it folds one after another after another, it folds all into different things.
Unwinds down,
Yeah.
The last question I wanted to ask you is, why do you think it's so important to share about this information about knife crime?
To raise awareness morally, to, at some point prevent it from happening
completely.
A lot.
Yeah.
Even if it's not completely, at least a good amount.
Yeah, it's definitely a very, very big problem in our area, and I, for one, think it's very stupid, and there is no need for it.
I think there's definitely needs to be more awareness of,
especially in the young kids,
young people especially.
Yeah.
They need to know more, awareness of what goes on within what happens to do with knife crime.
In your own city as well.
Exactly. Yeah, so
realistically, you need to know who has these ideas of carrying a knife, and then you need to be told to stay away, really, don't you?
Yeah, and for young people as well, I think parents get quite scared as well because of, for example, their child might be going out and they could be part of a gang.
Yeah, they don't know.
And they don't know about it.
And it's especially the way the world is going right now at this point in time, really, isn't it? It's going down,
It's just so pointless just carrying around a knife. You're just risking someone else's life for what reason?
For no reason
and then
at all.
You pay your time then.
Yeah, and it's not even just ruining their life.
It's ruining yourself as well. Your reputation.
And your own and their families and your families, because then you're going to get put into prison on you, and then they're going to be like,
why didn't we catch this sooner?
Yeah.
Why didn't we
why couldn't we notice that he was taking something
we could have noticed the
signs,
signs,
Yeah.
I heard a story though that a young guy around 17, 16 had actually gone and stabbed a 40-year-old man for absolutely no reason, just because he was walking. It just makes me think, why the hell would you want to do that to someone's, dad?
Yeah, uncle,
it's just
whatever, isn't it?
So pointless to think that, that young people are getting into it and then risking lives of people that have done absolutely
and going back to the reason why they think it's cool to do it, all this stuff, which it's not.
And stuff.
And exactly, they get into bad reputations with their groups of friends and stuff, and then it all goes downhill.
It's probably also the image of these people you're seeing around as well. The people who are doing the stabbings and then getting away with it.
Yeah.